everybody, the Network Berg here. Hope you guys have been doing well. Feels weird coming back to the streaming since I missed the stream last week, but I'm back now. For the people that aren't aware, my fiance and I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, and that's the reason I didn't stream last week. But things have been going swell. We're looking forward to everything that's been happening. Very healthy, very busy baby boy. Hello? Can you guys not hear me? If you're not hearing me, just give me a second. Let me just reconnect the microphone. Let's see. So this. Can you guys hear me now? Otherwise, let's check. Can you guys hear me now? Nod yes if you can hear me. Oh no. This is pretty weird. Hang on. So is the mic fine now or not? Because I did make some changes on OBS. Even though it was technically the right mic. Let me just look at my mic settings in Windows as well. Maybe there's something happening there. Oh, microphone. All right, that looks fine. All right, cool. Perfect. Yeah, thanks guys. Not sure what happened there. Anyways, as I was saying, my fiance and I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy last week Wednesday. So tomorrow he'll be 2 weeks old, which is really fascinating. It's been an amazing ride so far. Even though the kid's really busy, it's amazing, really. Anyways, guys, as I put in the thumbnail, if I recall in the previous session, somebody wanted to know more about OSPF on RouterOS version 7. So I figured maybe I'll start messing around with more of the features and such in RouterOS v7, because I'm sure momentum, and I hope it gets, I know it gets better, but the baby's like being a bit colicky right now, you know, like crying at the strangest things. Anyways, let's create a new stream, or not stream, a new lab. And let's just call this OSPF v7 MikroTik. And one thing I don't like about Eve, I'm not sure if this happens in GNS3, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But in the previous stream where I did some BGP stuff on version 7, the interfaces are out of whack. You'll see in a second, like as soon as I bring these routers up. So let's just call these R. Let's create 3 of them, not 13. And that looks fine. So let's bring up 3 routers. Router 1, router 2, router 3. So I'm just going to connect all of these routers together quickly. We can definitely look at some more VLAN stuff or layer 2 stuff specifically on MikroTik as well. But right now I just want to focus on the OSPF. All right, all my routers are connected. Let me just add a network, make it a nice globe, set that my management bridge, save that. And let's connect all of these things together. And you'll see in a sec like what the issue is. All right, so all my Ether 3s, technically on Eve, is going to this bridge adapter. Oh wait, let me actually put some music on for myself. I'm not going to play music through to the stream, because I know last time I was also having some issues with the volume and whatnot. So I'll just keep my desktop audio muted so I can hear the music, but you guys shouldn't be able to. I hope. If you can, let me know, and then I can turn it off or make it softer or something. All right, let's start up these nodes. Why is this not playing? Hang on. I think my speaker thingy is off. You might hear this come on. It's just a sound bar. Why is this not going on? There we go. There we go. Oh, hang on a sec. I might actually... Okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Let me turn that off. All right, that's fine. Okay, we've got 3 routers up and running. Let's just quickly determine what IP addresses we want to assign everywhere, because this isn't important. But actually, before I do that, let's just jump on Winbox, and then I'll show you guys like the issues that I have on Eve. So this should be router 1, router 2, and router 3, just looking at those MAC addresses. So I'm just going to jump onto router 1 quickly. And then from router 1, let's just close all the windows. If I go into my IP neighbors, I see Ether 1 and 2. But here's my issue. Ether 2 is picking up as what's going to my bridge. And here I've got Ether 2 going to router 2. So the interfaces are kind of like swapped around for some reason. Some of them, it's like the name is incorrect. There you see Ether 2 is actually Ether 3, which is a bit of an annoyance. So how I'm getting around that on Eve at least is just setting the identity so that I can see what router is what, and then we can assign the IPs properly on the correct ports. But a little bit of an annoyance, I won't lie. It caused my BGP lab to take way longer than what it should have. System identity, just make you R1, and I'll do the same for the other routers quickly. So router 2 will be R2. And just to make everybody also kind of aware, I'm not going to make this a super long stream or anything. This should maybe be an hour, maybe an hour 30 minutes tops. I don't want to put in 3 hours since I do have the baby in the background, and I just want to make sure everything's fine there as well. So system identity, let's make you R2. And now for the last one, I'm actually doing this the slow way by connecting onto Winbox. Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's really awesome. I like seeing stuff like that. I mean, it's a great feeling when you build that network and you get all of these sites able to communicate. Congratulations as well. That's a good thing. Neighbors. I don't know why I'm saying neighbors. Let's go system. Identity. Your R3. All right. Now I should be able to see on my neighbors which interface is actually really going to which router, because else we're going to run into some issues when we assign IPs. So I'm just going to now mock up IPs that's going to run between the interfaces. So let's say 10.0.0.0/30. I'll make it on this link. And I'm not going to make it very pretty or anything. This is just so that everything can start connecting. So let's make this 1, 2, and let's decide which is which. So router 1, I'll give the .1 IPs. So .1. Router 2, I'll give the .2 IPs. .2. And then router 3 will have an IP address of .2 and .1. Just so that these devices can connect and communicate with each other. All right, there we go. Very nice. Got our IP address planned. So let's start assigning them on the interfaces. So I'm I feel like that's Ether 2, but let's just see the interface is actually on router 1. If I look at my neighbors, which interface is actually going to router 2? So Ether 1 and Ether 2. Oh, but Ether 2 is my bridge. So that's expected actually. So we can just assign IP address. Oh, before I do that, this is actually pretty cool. If we go into the routing and the OSPF has all been like merged, also similar to with the BGP. They've added something called interface templates. So with the BGP, you have these templates for the BGP, and now you've got interface templates, which does quite a few things. There you see you can select your area and what your network is. So there's no network tab here that you specify this network belongs to this area. Now you specify the network through the interface template, and that will associate it with an area. Here we can select which interface it will be running, all that good stuff. But I just want to show you something. I'm going to create an OSPF instance. And let's just call this OSPF instance -1. Then we've got version 2 and 3. So this is up to you what type of OSPF network you're building. If you're building an OSPF network for version 4, IPv4, you're going to use version 2 most likely. Else you are going to use v3 for the IPv6 stuff. I'll look at the question, or I'll have to think about the question for a bit. Look, it should be fine. A lot of ISPs run MikroTik for their triple PoE, and there is an issue since it is single-threaded, as you say, and that core is probably going to hit capacity. But what people tend to do in that scenario is they add more routers, more MikroTiks to the mix to work as additional servers to hand out IP addresses and sessions and such. So it's not unusual to see like a cabinet with 8 MikroTiks for your triple PoE. It feels a bit wasteful. It feels weird. I know. I personally don't do that, but you can do it. It's not a hassle. I'm not sure if they fixed that with version 7 maybe, since version 7 allows for multi-threaded BGP sessions. So I feel like it should be the same for the triple PoE. Anyways, back on topic. Let's just add this OSPF instance. So I'm going to add this first as version 2 because that is what everybody's kind of used to. Version 3 again is if you're going to use IPv6. We can specify a VRF, a router ID, very basic stuff, filters, domain ID. So this is new stuff. We'll read up about that, but this wasn't here before. And then we've got our MPLS traffic engineering stuff. So let's just apply this. And this I like about the new version 7. These type of error messages that it's giving you. It's telling me routing instance not active. What the heck does that mean? If I think about it, it's telling me where the routes are being learned, there's nothing happening. The routing instance isn't active. So if I look at my IP routes, there's no routes. Even in my main routing table, there's no VRF, there's no... Yes, no, there is points. You can use IPv6 for your LAN network. I think people are going to steer clear of doing that for a very long time because we are creatures of habit, and it's so easy to know how IPv4 works when you've mastered it. And now you need to master IPv6. But there are private pools set aside for IPv6 that you can use for internal addressing. So there are spaces in the IPv6 pool that's cut out for you to make a LAN network. You don't have to, but it is there. If you want to use stuff like your IPv4 network still at your LANs, you can use that still. And then you just have a, they call it like a NAT64 server, where your IPv4 addresses would get to the server, and they would just be natted out as IPv6 from there, and they'd be able to communicate with the IPv6 world. Probably Just to answer the question, it's going to be a mix and match. A lot of people that's putting down new equipment will probably just opt in to make their new LAN an IPv6 LAN, whereas all of the old stuff will probably just stay there until it either needs to move or it dies out. All right. So let's quickly see if we can fix this error that we have in our OSPF when we look at the routing instance not found. And the quickest way that I can think of fixing this is just to assign some IP addresses to our interfaces. So there is actually some stuff happening in this routing table. So let's add those addresses. Let's add 10.0.0.1/30, 10.0.0.1/30 to Ether1. And if I look at this OSPF now I'm not getting that error anymore. It's not telling me the instance isn't found. It's just red because it's not working because there's nothing else configured. But so far so good. Let's just add the other IP address, which should be 10.0. What was it? 1.1/30, and that is on. Let's just look at our neighbors. I don't want to run into issues. That looks like Ether. Wait, it should be Ether 3, I think. Should look at our other interfaces. Yeah, it should be Ether 3. Where's that address box? Ether 3. Why am I struggling now? Let's just go into our IP addresses, add it again. 10.0.1/30 Ether 3. Apply, okay. Cool. Now I just need to add this on the other routers quickly, and I'll probably just do that via the command line because that is nice and quick for me at least. So let's just go admin blank no IP neighbor print. And you can say IP address add. Our address will be 10. So this is router 3. So our addresses was 10.0.1/2/30 on Ether. What is that? Why is it making it difficult? Let's just see. Ether 2 is learning both of those MAC addresses, so that should be the bridge. So Ether 3 is going to router 1. You see how weird that is? Even though on Eve, Ether 1 is plugged in. So let's just do that. Let's add Ether 3. And that should be that. And let's just add the other IP address. IP address add address 10.0.2.1/30. And that is going to Ether 1. Let's just quickly see, can I ping 10.0.1.1? I can. It's pinging in milliseconds, and I don't know what the U stands for. I would have imagined like nanoseconds, but that's something else. All right, and let's quickly do router 2. It's okay, Vinoth, welcome. Haven't seen you in a few weeks, man. Welcome back to the stream. You didn't miss much. You missed me not being able to talk in the microphone for the first few minutes because for some reason Windows didn't want to pick up the same microphone it's been using since forever. But we fixed that very quickly. All right, let's do an IP neighbor print. Let's just make this bigger so it doesn't look this bad. There we go. And now I can see Ether 1 is going to. All right, so this is the same. So IP address add address 10.0.2.2/30 on Ether 1. And let's add 10.0.0.2 on Ether 3. And let's try and ping 10.0.0.1. We can. I see you say microseconds, but what does the U stand for, you see? How does the U come into the microseconds? Like I get it's pretty fast, and that's awesome. But I don't get the U bit. Oh, can I get to 10.0.2.1? All right, so we can get to all of the routers and the topology, so we can continue with the OSPF setup. Nice. Now we're actually beginning with the OSPF. Let me see if I can quickly zoom in a bit as well, because I know we can do this, because some people have issues seeing some of this stuff. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Routing OSPF. So we have our instance. It is part of the main routing table right now. United seconds. Makes sense. Router ID. So if we leave this as main, I imagine that's just going to assign a router ID dynamically or automatically. We'll test it out in a bit, because we're here discovering the stuff together now. We've got our interfaces, but this seems like it will just pick it up from our interface templates. There's nothing that we're specifying here. You see that this is just a filter. Nothing to do here. We've got areas. So typically we would have the backbone already configured by default, which is area 0. But it seems like this is not the case. Maybe they'll add it like in the official release, like they'll add area 0 when you start up a new router, but right now it's not here. So let's just add an area. Let's just call this our backbone. And we can associate this with our default instance, area ID 000. We'll leave it as a default. Let's apply that. All right, nice. Now we can specify our interface template. So our area will be the backbone. Our interface, let's just leave that blank. I'm pretty sure this will now do the same thing where it will try and go over all of the interfaces. Like it's going to be the same as that. But let's just test it out and see if that actually works. Let's specify our network as 10.0.0/30. Prefix list. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Priority, instance ID, and the hello timer. So that's pretty default. All right. Let's just apply this and see what happens. Let's go into our interface to see if we pick anything up. I can see there's an address there. Okay, and it picks that up because we specified that network. Let's take the network out. I want to see something. Ah, interesting. So I haven't specified a network now, but if I go to my interfaces, I can see it's put up both of the networks that's on those interfaces. So that is actually pretty good. That's actually pretty interesting. So I didn't have to specify the network. It just kind of did it itself now, and it's using those interfaces to try and broadcast or form neighbors. All right, let's see if it actually works by setting up OSPF on another router. So let's go to router 2 quickly. Let's just double zoom in again. Let's add an instance, version 2. That's fine. Add our area, call it backbone. Apply that. Go into our interface templates. Let's add a template. So I'm again not going to specify any network or interface, just a backbone and broadcast. And let's hit apply. And if I look at my interfaces there, I can see both of these interfaces are also now trying to form neighbors. Their states are waiting at the moment. And let's see, I do see I've picked up a neighbor with router 1. And there's my LSAs. Okay, this is pretty good. We can set it as one interface by going into the template, and we can specify like you would if you wanted to, because on version 6, when you create an OSPF instance and you add your network, then it would typically as dynamically just create the interface for you to have that D, and then you can either keep that dynamically created interface, or you can just copy it, delete it, and make it whatever you want, move it from broadcast to point to multi-point, whatnot. But here with the template, but I like the template bit where it's doing that automatically for us. But yes, we can be very secure about it and force where we want the stuff to be learned, or where we want the OSPF neighbors to be formed. So we could say only Ether 1. Let's just look at our interfaces. So Ether 1, actually we want to do Ether 3. So only Ether 3, because that's going to router 1, which is currently a peer or a neighbor. And that should actually not change much because we've already formed a neighborship with that router, with router 1. Let's just try and add router 3 into the mix so that we can actually start playing around with a few things. So on router 3, let's just go into our routing OSPF, go into our instances, leave it this, leave it version 2. All right, that's pretty stock standard right now. Let's add an area, call it our backbone, put it in that instance and apply that. So that's fine. And let's add an interface or interface template. And I know ether 1 and ether 3 is going out. So we can specify now. Let's still not specify anything here. Let's just get the OSPF up and running. All right, so let's apply that. If I look at my interfaces, there's my 2 interfaces. They're both waiting. If I look at my areas, okay, that's fine. Let's look at our neighbors. I've only got one neighbor right now, and that's the neighbor to the router 1. But we already know why that is. If we go back to router 2, we've specified that ether 3 is the only interface that this template can form a connection to. So we can fix this by either removing that, or we can just probably add another template. Let's test it out and say ether 1. All the other same stuff. But now we've got ether 1 and ether 3 that we have defined where we want to form OSPF relationships or peers with. All right, let's see. Both of our neighbors have connected. Both of them's in a full state. That's brilliant. This is what we want to see. And our LSAs look good. Okay, that is awesome. Let's try and first learn some routes, you know, because what's the point of the OSPF if it's just now connecting to each other? Wait, let's also zoom in router 3 a little bit. Close some windows here. All right, so let's play around. Let's add some more networks. We'll create some loopback addresses just to assign these networks at. But this could have been a various. It could have been LAN networks. Could have been. Well, it's probably backbone networks. Then let's do something like 172.16.00/24. 172.17.00/24 and 172.17.00/24. Not 17, sorry, 18. All right, now we've got 3 networks that we're going to put behind the routers. Besides that, I also actually want to assign some loopback addresses to these routers. Something like 9991, 9092, and 9093. So these will be additional loopback addresses, but these addresses are more or less for, you know, services that we want to run over the network. So these routers would then communicate with each other over the loopback addresses instead of interface IPs, which makes more sense because it's scales better, it's redundant, it just works better. All right, let's quickly add these addresses via the command line because that will just be super quick. So all that we want to do is we want to do a interface bridge add name LO0 and LO1, and then we're going to add an IP address, and the IP address was 172.17.0. Let's make it .1/24 on LO1, and then let's add another IP address, add address 9.9.9.1 on LO0. Perfecto. Now let's do the same on the other routers. Let's do router 3 quickly. So we're going to go interface bridge add name LO0 and LO1. Let's add our IP addresses. IP address add address 9.9.9.3. That's on LO0. and then IP address add address 172.16.0.1/24 on allo1. And then last but not least, router 2. Let's quickly see. IP address print. I don't know why I did that. We can just do interface bridge add name LO0 and oof, I hit the wrong key. Interface bridge add name LO0 and LO1. Now we can add our IP address, add address 9992 on LO0, and we can do IP address add address 172.18.0.1/24 on LO1. If I do an IP route print, I wonder, do I see anything? Not seeing anything there, but now I am. What the heck is the plus? Oh, ECMP. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. So that just means it's got multiple paths with the same type of distances set, so it could take either path. It's ECMP routing. I mean, this if you've done like the MTCRE, you're familiar with it. I don't typically use ECMP that much, but I'm pretty sure it's got its uses. All right. So we're learning our loopback addresses, and we are learning our LAN addresses. So that is fantastic. So let's just see, can I ping 16.1? Yes, I can. Can I ping 17.1? Yes, I can. I wonder, do these MikroTiks have a limitation on bandwidth test since it's beta? Let's quickly test something, guys. Sorry, this isn't that much related to the OSPF. I just want to see, because MikroTik trial licenses, or you know, when you start a MikroTik up this way that I'm doing, it's all restricted to 1 meg. But since this is a beta version, I would almost half expect this to not be throttled. Let's just quickly do a test. I'm just going to go into my tools, btest. It's enabled. All right, let's try this. Bandwidth test. Let's try and connect to 9.9.9.2. Admin blank. Let's see, can we do anything? No, can't connect. All right. Something doesn't look right to the bandwidth test for me, because typically you could specify a few more things here. But now we just see it's enabled and authenticate. Let's just check, can the admin account actually do btest? It should, because it can do anything typically. It's already got full. Look at full. Yeah, it's already got all access. All right. I don't want to make it feel like a waste of time. It's just I was quite curious to see if we could test bandwidth and see the throughput, but it doesn't seem like I can do it just now. We'll get back to it. Anyways, let's play around with some more OSPF. Why is it still red? It shouldn't be red because it's connecting. If I go into my IP routes, I should be learning a bunch of routes, and this looks perfect. Yeah, so the OSPF is connecting. Let's see what else we could do with the OSPF. If we look at our template, again, everything now happens with the template. This is where a lot of your config is happening. The instance is pretty basic. We can specify an out filter, but it's not really anything fantastic. We can limit our networks if we want to. We can do a per interface or per network template. Prefix list. Let's maybe play around with that. What I like is this V-Link transit area. Might do something with that as well. Okay, but the interfaces are there. It's all being learned. That's fine. All right. What should we do with this OSPF? Because the OSPF's there, but we want to use OSPF because it's an IGP and we want to deliver services with it. We want to do different things with it. It shouldn't just be here to, you know, to learn LAN networks or something, or to learn loopback addresses. It's there for us to do other things. I'm curious, can we turn on MPLS? Does this work on V7's beta? Where do we turn that on? I don't see it here. I feel like it's not active yet. Let's just Google that. RouterOS V7 MPLS. Oh, here's the features. Okay, that's good. So the OSPF is done. Oh, we can't do point-to-point addressing. Okay. What else can we do? ECMP, mangles, VRF. Not available. Okay. That sucks. Okay, so we can't even test MPLS on version 7. Let's do a different type of test. Let's go back to our topology. Let's add another node. But this MikroTik, it's going to be a version 6 MikroTik. And let's just see, can we connect version 6 and version 7 OSPF with each other? Does that work, or are we going to have issues? Ah, darn, come on. MikroTik. Let's make it version 648 is fine. Let's call this R, just 1. And let's connect you to router 3 and router 2. So this MikroTik I'm more likely going to just configure through command line. Although we could potentially just quickly add it to this network as well. But I want to do it through the command line. I have a preference to command line. So let's duplicate that and decide where what IP is. So router 2 can still be .2. And router 3 can be .1. That seems pretty good. So we're adding .1.1, .2.2. Oh, no, we're not. We're adding another .1. Let's just delete that. Duplicate you. Bring you over here, and let's just quickly assign these IPs, and this I need to now assign, obviously. So router 4 admin blank q system identity set name R4 IP address add address 10, what did I make it, 10.04.1, and that is going to ether 2. And IP address add address. So Adam, this is called EvenG. It is a network emulator. You could almost think of this as a competitor to GNS3. GNS3 is also really nice. It works fine, especially with MikroTik. It plays very well with MikroTik. But I've always had issues with GNS3. Whenever I update my VM on GNS3, a lot of stuff breaks, and it takes me a lot of troubleshooting to get my GNS3 to work again. So I haven't had issues like that since I've moved to EvenG, which I appreciate a lot. I'm currently using the professional edition, which costs money, but there is a community edition, which I have a video on how to set that up. Works exactly the same as you see here. I'm not even using any of the professional features here. This is just how it is. This is how it looks on community edition as well, except I can't connect nodes while they're live on community edition. You first need to turn it off, then plug it back in, and there you go. But it's exceptional tool for learning because these are real routers in a virtual environment. We're setting up real IPs. They can break out to the internet. It's an actual network. It's not like packet tracer with Cisco where it's limited functionality, or it's not really like how the equipment works. So this is why I love emulators, because you get that sense of real world experience. Maybe not completely, because the real world is a lot sketchier. People plug weird things in and do weird configs, but this is as good as it gets, as close as it gets. All right. Anyways, let's jump in and finish these IP addresses. So we had IP address 10.03.2. Oof, I see I made a mistake. We'll fix that just now, ether1. So I'm gonna do an IP address print. I can see I accidentally made this ether2 IP /32, so let's just fix that. IP address set address 10.041/30 for item 0, and let's just see that's fixed. It is fixed. So we can just quickly add the addresses on the other routers as well. So router 2, IP address print, IP neighbor print. So ether4 is going to my version 6 MikroTik. So let's do an IP address add address 10.042/30 on ether4, and let's see, can I ping 10.041? I can. Hooray! Amazing. Makes me happy. And last but not least, let's do some config on this mister. So IP neighbor print. So you're also ether4. So we're doing an IP address add address 10.0.3.1/30 on ether4. All right, that's perfect. And I just want to jump back to ether or router 4 quickly, because I just want to assign my loopback address. So IP address or interface bridge add name allo0, IP address add address 9994 on allo0. All right, now we want to actually do the OSPF. So I might actually do this on Winbox, because I know a lot of people are more comfortable on Winbox. So let me just connect router 4 onto this network as well, and we should be able to find it in our IP neighbors. So let's have a look. There's router 4. Let's connect. Yes, it's called EvenG, exactly how you spelled it there. I can quickly take you to the website as well, but I think you've got it. Where am I going? EveTech is actually like a place in South Africa that sells amazing gaming computer products, but I've got nothing to do with EvenG. And also I don't promote them. I don't even promote EvenG. It's just my preferenced emulator. So this is their site. You can download stuff from here. There's the Pro Edition, and then there is the Community Edition, which is the free version, which I highly recommend. Doesn't cost you a penny, and you can do exactly what I'm doing in this lab currently. All right, cool. Let's get back to it. Router 4, is this you? Yes. So on router 4, we want to actually start adding our OSPF and see if we can make it work with the version 7 routers. So we'll add our instances first, but there's already the default instance here. Let's just make the router ID 9994. Apply that. And you see how different the stuff is. There was also no redistribution on the version 7 OSPF. So I'm not sure if that's going to be added or not. It's the same thing that I saw with the BGP, but it is what it is. Okay, so we've got our instance. what we want is our area. It's already added, so backbone, default, okay, that's fine. Let's just add our networks. Now this is the difference, because remember the other routers was like dynamically just picking everything up and starting to broadcast and trying to form neighbors and stuff. Now we're going to specify our networks. So our networks in this case was 10.0.30, I think. Yes, 10.0.30, 10.0.40, and 999.4. Apply these. And if I go to my interfaces, it is picking up interfaces that it wants to create OSPF with. I can actually see that something's connected. Ether1 has connected. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate those kind words. I'm hoping that I can bring out more content to help a lot of people. I've also been busy making a bit of a MikroTik MTCNA course, which I'll give you guys a little view of. But I want to put a lot of effort into it to make sure everybody can get upskilled and, you know, get comfortable with it. All right, our area is there, and I'm only seeing one neighbor, and this is the neighbor going to Ether 1, which is router 3 as far as I'm aware. So my router 2 is not working. So let's just check router 2 out. Is there any... Oh, you know why it's not working. Can anybody tell me why router 2 and router 4 are not able to create an OSPF neighborship? What is the issue? And I know what the issue is, and I'll tell you in a second. I just want to see if anybody else picked up like what I can see what the issue is. That's correct. That is absolutely correct. So we specified static interfaces in the interface templates on router 2. So only Ether 1 and Ether 3 was doing the OSPF, let's say, the OSPF dance. So let's just add another instance or template. Let's just add Ether 4 because that was what was going to router 4. We can leave it on the area backbone, leave it on broadcast. Let's just apply that. And if I look at my neighbors now on router 4, I can see I formed another neighborship. Amazing. So we are able to actually connect routers that's on version 7 with routers on version 6. I actually think that's half expected to be able to do. I just think I wasn't sure that it was going to work on the beta version because, you know, maybe they just want the beta stuff to be able to do its own thing while they fix things. Again, I do not recommend adding version 7 into your production network. There's really no reason for you to be running beta or beta software in a production environment because you are going to run into issues. There is going to be some headache somewhere, and maybe things will work fine for a bit, and then you're going to have that one big issue, and there's literally no way to fix it because MikroTik doesn't support it yet, and you've put yourself in that situation, and your only option really is to roll back. But now you've cut over, and you know, don't hurt yourself. Leave version 7 until it is released. It's nice for us to lab this stuff like I'm doing now to figure it out. What I might recommend with version 7 is you could run one MikroTik with WireGuard, but if just for the WireGuard, if that's what you want, just for that. But don't put other stuff on that MikroTik. You're going to get into issues. Okay. Let's just see here. We've got our routes. Let's check router 1. Is router 1 learning 9994? Perfect. And it's learning it as ECMP because there are multiple routes. If we look at our diagram, 9994, there's multiple ways for router 1 to get there. So that's why it's seen as an ECMP right now. All right, that's actually pretty good. Let's just see from router 1. Wait, I should still have it open here. No, I don't. Okay, let's just open up router 1 on command line. And let's see, can I ping 9.9.9.4? Yes, I can. That is exceptional. All right, I'm pretty happy with this. So we now know OSPF version 2 is running perfectly fine between these two versions. Let's quickly just add a OSPF v3 stuff, just to get people a bit of a feel, because it does fall into the IPv6 category. If I go into router 4 quickly and I go into my routing, you'll see there is OSPF, but there's no IPv6 here. I can quickly turn on the package just by going into our system packages. And if I turn on IPv6, I might have to reboot. Yes, okay, let's just quickly reboot the MikroTik system reboot. And then with this reboot, I will be able to run OSPF v3, but it will be in its own little subsection. You'll see in a second what I mean. And this is what's actually pretty cool on version 7. You saw everything is like there's one place for it, for the routing at least, which I feel is pretty good. All right, we're back on router 4. Let's look at our routing, OSPF v3. So there we go, it's the same type of stuff as OSPF version 2, just what do we use OSPF v3 for? I've already mentioned it, but can anybody in the chat just remind me, why do we use OSPF v3? What is this for? While you type out an answer for me, let's just quickly set up some OSPF v3 stuff. Let's go into router 2. And then from router 2, I just want to start with the setup. So OSPF, interface templates. And then what we could do is, this is still in the backbone. Oh, hang on. We want to create a new instance now. So let's create a new instance. But this will be on version 3. And we can apply that. And I actually want to disable this instance quickly. So that's the version 2 instance. And then I just want to add a new area. Can we make it the same? Can this also be in the backbone? Let's see. OSPF, let's just call this backbone 2. Wonder if this will work. Well, it works. And let's add an interface template. So the area will be backbone 2. Let's leave it on broadcast and let's apply. I'm curious about this. And we're going to do the same on the OSPF v3 now. So we're just going to go into our instance. We can set the RID if we want to. 999.4. That's right, Tom. It is for version 6. Then we've got our areas. Alright, but this already has its own stuff. So this is actually also quite nice from version 6, to be honest. OSPF v6 routers. But now we're not seeing anything connecting. Let's just put this interface on as Ether 2. Let's apply this. Let's just see, does it do anything? That's in a waiting state. So I do have a neighbor. And there is the, well, let's just call it like the link address in IPv6 format for router 2. Am I learning anything on there? Not really. But it has connected, so that's fine. Let's just see the routing here. Okay, so here I see I am picking up LSAs, and this is all just now on backbone 2, which is for the IPv6 network. Maybe we should try and add an IPv6 network or address. I'm terrible with IPv6 networks. 200.1. Let's try that. Put that on. Maybe create another loopback. No. Let's put it on loopback 1. Sorry. Let's just do that. And let's add another address on here, but I need another loopback. Sorry. So let's just add that. Bridge add LO1, and then your IP address can be let's do something like that maybe. Wait, I'm in the wrong space. Let's put that on LO1, apply that. And let's see, if I go into my IP routes, what do I see there? Bunch of OSPF routes, but we need to go into our IPv6 routes. So I can see a directly connected route there, but I'm not seeing the route for this 2001. Let's just quickly see if we can fix that. OSPF templates. So this should just send out all the routes by default. That looks pretty normal to me. Routing IPv6. Interesting. It would be so funny if I need to go watch my own video on how to do OSPF v3. But the issue that I'm having is not because it's v3, it's more or less between RouterOS version 7 and version 6 on v3. Okay. I don't see that I'm learning much there. A little bit of an annoyance. Oh, hang on a seckie. I wonder. Just copy this. Make it LO1. No, but this won't be it. Just see our routes. Not learning anything yet. Writing OSPF interface templates. This all looks fine. I just don't get why I don't see the neighbor in the version 6 router. Very peculiar. But I'm getting LSAs back. Let's try and define something quickly. Let's just force this on. Which is this now? I think it should be Ether 4. Let's just apply that. And I don't see anything there. Areas. Nope. I'm just not seeing anything. filters. We're not going to add any filters here now. Okay. I'm just going to turn the v2 OSPF back on as well. But now that would just be for my IPv6 addresses, which has nothing to do with the v3 stuff. All right, but I think it's more or less either the addressing I'm using or just maybe some type of, I don't want to say bug, but something's not working correctly between v6 and 7, at least for me here in this lab that I'm using. Yes, Thomas, yes. So essentially the way that I just, it's running that way currently. So the addresses or the neighbors that I've made, so this neighbor, it's picked up from the link address, because these link addresses are also unique on the IPv6 world. So it knows, hey, this neighbor, this link address, I can form a peer with it. And it's kind of just how it is. It's what makes, I guess, v3 quite useful and interesting. Maybe needed P2P. So I get what the two of you are saying as well. Let's try that actually. Let's maybe set an address between the two interfaces. So let's maybe make it this 2001, and I might add the all right, I have an idea. Let's do .3. Copy that. Let's just add this between Ether4 and let's do the same on router 4. So let's add our address, and then this can be .2 or :2, and that was on Ether 2. Let's apply that. And let's quickly see, can we ping? Because this would be, this should just be able to ping .1. Oh, so I can ping .1. Can I ping .2? Should be able to, since I'm on there and I'm getting a response already. So this is working. So we've got IPv6 address between router 4 and router 2. Let's just look at our neighbors again. Not our neighbors, but there you can see what I mentioned earlier about that's the link address that we're picking up from the interface. It's already being advertised, and that's why I could form the neighborship earlier. Let's have a look at our neighbors. It's just confusing to me that I'm not seeing the neighbor here. We can remove that Ether4 bit quickly. Let's just turn off the OSPF v2 again. And let's just see what happens here. Waiting. We're just waiting. But there we can already see the neighbors picked up. There's the router ID. That's the interface, how many state changes, all that good stuff. We might just be able to force something quickly. That's alright. It's still not right for me. It's okay. We'll revisit that. Let's just turn this stuff back on. All right. Cool. So this is what I wanted to show, at least for the OSPF on V7. There are definitely some things that we can revisit with the V3 or OSPF V3 not working correctly between version 6 and 7. It's probably something I'm doing incorrectly just now, but forgive me, I'm a bit tired. So I just want to minimize these windows. I'm going to shut down this lab quickly, and then I want to just show a few people the course that I've been working on, what I mentioned earlier. And this is still a very big work in progress. It's going to take me a while to get everything in place. Let's just see, can I drag this here? So this is almost like a, think of this as the study guide, the thing that you'd open up to, like, you know, go through all of the source material, but the course itself would be in a video format, similar to the videos I'm making here, but it'd be me, it'd be you, we'd be just chatting, explaining these things, like what's actually going on. And I'm fairly close to finishing the first module, which is all of this stuff. And then once the first module is done, obviously, then I get to go through the other modules. The only issue that I might have is the wireless, because it's very hard to emulate wireless through, you know, on a VM. So for that purpose, I've got some physical little lightweight RB951s and such that we can play around with the wireless. But yeah, it's gonna take me a while. Like me only being done with the first module now almost, and and that's not what makes it cool. Yes, you've got the PDF and the video and stuff, but what's really going to, I feel, set this apart a bit is when it comes to the learning. Like you'll see, I'm creating actual labs that you can import into your own EvenG. That's like a pre-config that would be the thing that you open up, and then you could do the configuration yourself. And then I've got a completed config that you can review if you're struggling or having some issues, you know. So something to look out for. Probably in the next few months I'll bring this out, but I'm very passionate about it. This is actually taking my time when I'm not working full time, because I'm working full time and then I'm trying to make this course, and I'm being a dad in the, you know, there's so little time, but we're all busy. So hopefully I get everything sorted out soon. Anyways, guys, I am going to wrap up the video or the stream now. I do thank everybody for watching. If anybody has any question, feel free to ask now before I completely like turn the stream off. If you're happy, you guys know you can always talk to me. You can mail me, you can leave messages on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever, Twitter. And I can see about helping you out learning something, because Bastian, I'll talk about the baby just now. I'll actually see if I can bring the little man to show him to everybody. Let's quickly have a look. I might knock this green screen and then stuff might look a bit weird. Just give me a second. I'm just gonna put the Be Right Back screen on, and then let me see if I can bring the little baby. So be right back, guys. Right, so I'm back, and this is Eden, and he's our little baby boy. I probably am gonna give him back to his mom just now, but he's really such a good boy. Oh, look at him. He's a future network engineer, no doubt. You can take it.
Nice little man.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, Mohammed, so I'm still figuring out the exact costing and all that stuff. Like, it's all just me still working on the material. There's no definite where you'll be able to get it. Maybe I'll make it free even, though I do think I want to add some monetary value to it, because I want to transition more into, you know, making content as a more full-time type of job, instead of you know, not that I don't want to work. I want to work, definitely, but I'm considering maybe looking at broadening my horizons. I want to be able to spend more time, especially with my son. So I do think I'll add some monetary value to it, but it won't be something absurd. I'll probably add it on my own website, and who knows, I might put it on places like Udemy or Skillshare or whatever, where courses are typically really cheap. My number, I can't give that out, but you are welcome to email me on my work email address. So I'll give you this. So this is my Network Berg email address. So you're more than welcome to send me an email on there, and if you want to ask a question. But on the other side, I am also pretty busy sometimes. So if I don't come around to answering your question, don't feel like I'm ignoring you or something. I just might have gotten a ton of mails, and I might have read your mail, but I got busy with something, and then I just forgot to message you back. Or the other issue that I have is many times people also Peanut Lab. So I don't want to badmouth Peanut Lab, because I don't want to say colleagues, but I know some people that use it, and good for them. It's good for them if they like using that product. But personally, I would stay away from Peanut Lab, because it is, at the end of the day, it's EvenG. It's EvenG, just reskinned. So I support the EvenG people because it's their product. They made it. They put their own like sweat and blood and tears into it. And for me, it feels really bad if like somebody takes your product and reskins it and sells it. It's not nice at all, in my opinion. Like, I'm fine with. Did you find out why speed test didn't work? No, maybe we can actually just quickly try and figure that out. Like, I don't mind spending a few more minutes quickly. So let's just go back into that OSPF v7 lab, because I know that the version 6 routers will be capped at 1 meg, but the version 7 stuff, I suspect if bandwidth test works, that you should be able to get the full speed, because how can you restrict the speed on a beta version, you know? That wouldn't make much sense. I just want to open up a few more docs here. Let's just see, is bandwidth test here? Doesn't show anything about bandwidth test. Oh, but this is just the routing. I don't see anything there. I actually like this help.mikrotik.com site quite a bit. It's very nice. But this is the thing with this Eve lab that I'm making. It's not difficult for you. It's not like, it's kind of like Peanut Labs. You'll have a folder, and there will be module 1 or module 2 or whatever, and you go in and all your stuff is there. You literally just load the lab up. I've already made it. Let me just, I know I'm hopping around now, guys, but I just want to show you what happens. So I'm going to open up this complete configuration thing, and this works on version or community edition, even though I'm exporting it from Pro. So we've got a router, and I've added the startup configs to the routers already. So when you boot the router up, it will already put the necessary config on it so the lab will work. The only thing you need to do is import the software image, and all of these labs will run off of version 6.48. And I'll specify that. I'll even tell people exactly what they need to use for the lab so that you can follow along exactly. You won't miss anything. Everything will be perfect every time you open up the labs. Anyways, let's get back to the bandwidth test, because that would be nice if we can figure that out. OSPF v7, and my stuff are still up here, so that's fine. So let's connect on to router 1. Admin, it should be admin blank. What's wrong? Hello, why are you not connecting? Admin blank, connect. All right, I didn't change anything. So let's look at our tools, btest server. Let's see if I open up here, I might have this other router still. Just connect to this one as well. But this is running version 6 now. Oh, okay, but it's on the same router. Tools, btest. Okay, let's just try this. Tools on router 1. We say we want to do a bandwidth test. Let's do a bandwidth test to 10.0.0.2. It's connecting. It's running actually. It just didn't want to run with my loopback address, but it does seem like this is still capped at 1 meg. If I look at that. Unfortunate. Let's try it and make it TCP, make it random data, do it on both. Yeah, no, this is capped at 1 meg. Definitely. All right, so even on the beta version, we don't get more speed or anything. It's just capped. So this is all pure testing. Damn it. I kind of hoped that would not have been the case, but we've been had. We thought we could have gotten a nice bandwidth testing server, but we didn't. It's okay. We'll make a plan later on. Anyways, guys, I think I am wrapping it up here now. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all of the support, and I'll be back on next week, same time, make another stream. We'll dive into a few more other things, and I'll give you some updates how much closer I get to finishing the course. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Bye bye.